Hello world! Today's title sounds a little weird, and you may think I don't have the authority to be talking about this, but to me the definition of make it on YouTube means that you've generated an audience that's large enough to sustain your own income. Of course, your own income can mean a lot of different things. That could mean supporting your entire family, or it could be just yourself. For me, that's what it is right now. Through YouTube, I am able to do this full-time. I can pay my bills, I can save, and hopefully as this year progresses, we can see growth so that, you know, all my work actually provides me with a raise. But of course, a lot of people try to make YouTube channels, and clearly only a few make it. And I want to talk about some of the things I always notice because I am sent links and I am tagged all the time with people who are just starting out their YouTube channel, and it's really hard to believe this, but they look at me as their motivator, their role model. They want to end up as successful as I am, which to me, you know, I'm like just barely making it, so I don't understand why I'm the role model. I would look at someone bigger, but regardless, I think if you haven't started a YouTube channel yet, or you have and it's very small, there are a few things you can take away from this. There are a lot of reasons for people to quit doing YouTube or not even try at all, and I'll just go over some of them here. So number one, I notice this all the time. I see it in my friends, I see it online, I see it everywhere. People waiting for the exact right circumstances, and this can mean a lot of things. For one, a lot of it I always notice is about equipment. You want to start a YouTube channel, but you don't have a camera or a microphone or a computer yet, and you're saving money for that, but since you don't have the proper equipment, you're not going to start yet. That's a very common one, and I hope people are able to fight that as much as possible. There are still very, very creative ways for you to make entertaining videos without expensive hardware or software. Like a lot of my tech videos when they first started going viral were edited on my iPad, just with iMovie. Now, luckily, I had a pretty advanced DSLR to film them with, but I personally think they could have done just as well if I shot them on my phone. And of course, iMovie is on basically every iPhone now. So no, I don't think that should be your permanent fix. I don't think it just means you should only have an iPhone and that's all you need for years. Of course, if you want your YouTube channel to grow substantially, I think you could upgrade a little bit down the line, and I think you should save for equipment because making sure your audience can hear you well and see you well is important. Not necessarily just because it makes you look more sophisticated, but when I'm making my videos, I don't want people to be distracted by the production value. That's my primary reason for wanting to have a pretty good mic and a pretty good camera. I know I do not have the best tech out there, but it's good enough so that people can watch me, understand what I'm saying, and you know, they're not left wondering like, what is he saying? Man, what did he film this on? A potato? Like all those terrible kinds of comments. Whenever I'm watching someone else's videos when they're just getting started on YouTube, I try to look past that best I can and look at editing, which is another key important role to realize, and this starts from the very beginning. Good editing is not something you have to worry about later when your channel's bigger. In fact, editing, I think, is what saved my channel and is what got people so into it, is because I'm talking very fast, clearly, and I cut jump cuts all the time. You guys have been watching me for a while, you know how this works. And I think all these jump cuts really show, at least what I'm trying to get them to show, is efficiency. As in, when you're watching my video, I don't want to waste your time. I want every second of it to be full of information that's useful. I don't know if that's exactly why I have 30,000 subs on tech and growing, but that was my theory. When I started doing those infinite jump cut videos back when the tech channel first started, my idea was if you're talking and content was edited and it was noticeably edited, you know, and jump cuts is a very efficient and easy way to show that you edited your video, I think people notice effort, because a big problem we have now is people standing in front of a camera, looking into the lens and talking very monotonely and just kind of stating the facts, and they leave in all their pauses, and it kind of makes the viewer feel like they're watching someone rather uninteresting, just kind of talk at them. If you want to stay interesting for someone, you have to be a little bit more animated. I know this because I was not animated when the tech channel started. I just kind of sat there and stated the facts. I was not very energetic, didn't really talk with my hands too much. I kind of lightly paced around my room, and that was about it. So if you haven't started, or if you're just starting, be a tad more live. It's got to be more than just stating the facts nowadays. Now look, we have giant YouTubers who do just state the facts and sit there, but they've been here for a while and they have millions of subscribers to the point that they don't even have to try. They have so much money. A lot of their fame is purely based on how much money they have, because they can buy an infinite amount of tech to review, expensive tech, and they have an infinite amount of money to spend on camera equipment, which is really high budget, but it looks great, and that's how they're able to maintain their audience. It isn't necessarily because they have the best insight or the most to say, it's just they look professional, so it's okay when they state the facts. But look, if you're starting, you're probably like me and you don't have the best tech, you don't have a lot of money, you can't just sit there and state the facts anymore. You have to provide something else because, you know, you can't buy the top of the line iMac and talk about how good at gaming it is, where other YouTubers can do that. You have to provide something unique and special to you. And branching off from this waiting for the perfect circumstances point, it's not necessarily all about equipment, because a lot of people out there, they've got the cameras, they've got the editing software, they've got the microphone, they got all of that, but they still don't upload very often. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. In fact, it's quite understandable as to why when you're just starting a YouTube channel, you wouldn't be too passionate about making sure you upload every other day or even every day. That's not as important to you because obviously you get very little out of it in the start. And for those people who quit, maybe never. You know, when you work in fast food or you work at any minimum wage job, you know, you send in your application, you do the interview, you're hired. Okay, now you're on payroll. So you know that if you show up there at Monday at 8 o'clock and you work till 3 o'clock, you are going to make this exact amount of money because you know what minimum wage is, or you know what whatever wage you have there is, and they are going to pay you that. They are written in a contract, and within a week or two, you are getting that paycheck of $200, $300, $400. That work you did was immediately reimbursed. YouTube is definitely not like this. It may seem like this when you're bigger because people look at what I'm doing and say, all you have to do is sit in front of the camera and just talk about stuff, and Google pays you for that? That's so easy. So many times I get people say, I could do that. I'll start my own channel and I'll get paid that much. And of course I laugh with them and sarcastically joke about, oh yeah, you'd get more subs than I would. But deep down, if I really wanted to dive into that discussion, I would have to explain to them that getting to the point where people actually cared about the videos I was making took years and hours and hours and hours of trial and practice with little to zero payoff. You've been watching Hello World, you know that I didn't always make tech videos. I used to make comedy sketches and action sequences and feature films. I made those for a long time and then realized that no one was watching them. Those took hours and hours, and not just of my own time, of other people's time, and I would be working actual manual labor jobs, saving that money to spend on my YouTube channel that had, you know, 100 to 200 subscribers. Each one getting about 30 to 50 views, which was a lot for me at the time, but that doesn't really translate to any moolah. I was getting about $1 a month, and I tried that. Week after week, I tried doing different web series, I tried different comedy techniques, and even when I started doing Taylosive Tech, because I was trying to recruit audience members, because no one was obviously looking up the term Taylosive, when I did tech videos, they were getting 0 views. These videos would be up for weeks and literally have the number 0. I made my custom thumbnails, I filmed them with a DSLR and a professional microphone, shotgun mic, I would edit them in Adobe Premiere. I had all that tech, and yet there was no payoff. I spent well over $1,000 on all the equipment that I wanted to make more videos with, and I was getting $0 in return. This was before Patreon, and Google AdSense doesn't even send you a paycheck until it exceeds $100. So when I hear a lot of people out there saying like, oh, I don't have time to make videos, or ooh, I'm gonna do it, but I'm not quite ready for it, but I'd like to, I wish I could sit them down and explain to them that, look, no, you're not going to get paid immediately. It may take you several years before you start to even turn a profit. If I collect all the money I've spent on camera equipment and computers that I've used on my Taylosive channel and compared it to the amount of money I've made in total on Taylosive, I'm curious if I've even turned a profit yet. My guess is that this year I'll just start to break even. But in order to gain that audience, in order to gain that viral sensation that would allow you to make videos and actually get paid for them, you have to treat it as if it was an actual job, which is very difficult to do. Back in high school and in college, I of course had plenty of other responsibilities just like all of you do. I had to go to school, I had to finish my homework, I had to make time for my job out of all that, which was mowing lawns around town. I did that quite often. And then in the summers, I would work at the Mandarin Ranch. I would be completely exhausted, and sometimes I wouldn't finish my college homework until midnight, and I still wouldn't have a video up, and I would have to push myself, slap myself in the face and say, it's late, I'm tired, I want to die, but I'm going to finish a video tonight. And how many views is it gonna get? Probably 30, maybe 40. And that's a huge factor I look for when I'm trying to find someone who may actually have potential on YouTube, is someone who can self-motivate. Because since you don't have a boss and there's no one telling you, you need to make more videos, it's very, very difficult to feel that inspiration, especially when there's no payoff. It's embarrassing almost to have a channel that you're gonna put hours of time into and get very little in return. You know, you might live in a small house and your parents or siblings or whoever might think, why are you talking to yourself? What are you doing? And you have to explain to them, well, I want to start a YouTube channel. And they'll say, oh, really? How many subs do you have? And you go, well, not that many. And they go, see, this is a waste of time. You're not getting anything out of it. I've dealt with that a lot of times. Back before YouTube sent me any kind of money, a lot of people would look at what I was doing because, of course, I shared it on my social media media sites, I would tell people, hey, you should watch my videos. Or when people would ask me what I was up to, I didn't want to be boring and just say, well, but college is fine, I guess. It's a lot of work and I'm kind of stressed for this test I have, but that's about all that's going on in my life. I would like to spice it up a little bit and say, hey, I'm working on this comedy series for my YouTube channel. And they'd be like, wow, how many people you have watching? And this is when I would start to round up a little bit. Oh, you know, like 200 people are subscribed to my channel. I got a whole crowd. When in reality, out of that 200, only about 30 to 50 people actually clicked on the video. A lot of those subscribers may have been bots, and a lot of people may have subscribed to the channel out of generousness to me, but not cared enough to actually watch what was coming out. So I understand you. If you're in that position, it is quite frustrating because you want this to be a full-time thing. You want to prove to your friends and family that this can be profitable and this actually can be a real job, but there's no set plan. There's no saying that within 1 month you'll have enough videos and you'll have good content that your channel will start growing, or it may take 5 to 10 years. There's no schedule. There's no set plan that says if you do this to your videos, you will get guaranteed success. So I can't tell you exactly what advice you need in order for your channel to grow. Whether it be gaming, tech reviews, or comedy sketches, or anything like that, vlogs, it of course is different for everyone. And that's why the advice us YouTubers send to you is always so kind of gray and it's kind of broad. It's not very specific. It's because we're not necessarily sure how we did it either. All I know is that the numbers are proving I'm doing something right with Taylosive Tech and right with Taylosive Talks, because of course they're generating views. People are interested in that, but I'm not sure if it's for the reasons I was expecting. My hope is that I could provide an entertaining twist on informing people about tech while also being admittedly biased. But I understand that a lot of my viewers just watch me because they think I look attractive. I don't know what the heck is wrong with them. Or a lot of people watch because they legitimately find my tech commentary insightful. Or some people like to go there to get angry because they know in my comment section they're going to get nothing but Appleseed viewers, because those are obviously the only people who subscribe, with a few exceptions of course. But I'm not necessarily sure why people saw my earlier videos that are clearly not as good as the ones I'm making now and decided to subscribe and decided to stay with me. So when you're working on your videos, all I want to encourage is that you have to start somewhere. You have to push yourself, even when it feels like there's no time, when it feels like there's other things to do. Again, don't throw your entire life away, but try to prioritize things that you spend your time on. For me, there's very little time where I'm watching TV or movies. I have very little free time now. It's because I'm giving YouTube my all. And it's hard, it's stressful and exhausting, but it's finally paying off, which is very gratifying. And when you're making your videos, always look at yours and look at someone else's you love and try to figure out the differences. What could I do differently? Is my attitude a little too boring? Do I not have enough jokes? Could my editing be a bit more professional? And if you're thinking about investing in more fancier equipment, think about, okay, my camera quality is pretty good, but comparing to other YouTubers, I think my mic, my audio itself could be a little bit better. And then start saving for that. Just kind of prioritize, this could be great, but right now it isn't. And every time I make a new video, I'm gonna try to make it a little bit better than the last one. I hope you found that interesting and insightful. And to all you guys wanting to start your own YouTube channel, or if you already have, good luck. And I hope you take into effect all that I've talked about today. Thanks for watching this one, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.